recording.
Yeah.
Devon, what's up, man?
It's another day, like I said. It's another day. We moving.
Devon Burs, Dirt Devil Landscaping.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Out of the Catonsville area.
Yep.
North side of Baltimore.
Yes, sir.
Kind of a little cool story how we kind of met and started interacting, just doing the whole Instagram thing.
Yeah.
Never met you before today.
Yeah.
Just social media friends, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is cool, man. I mean, you definitely do a lot of the same work that we do here.
Mm-hmm.
The Instagram posts are cool.
Yeah.
You're a young guy, very driven.
Yeah.
Seems like you work 8 days a week. So
pretty much, yeah, dude. I haven't had a day off.
Yeah, man.
For a while. So.
Which is cool. I mean, to me, it's cool to see a young dude that's, working hard, hustling, getting up early every day, posting Instagram stories, 6 a.m., just doing your own thing, which I think is great, man. A lot of people think that the young generation's not doing that shit anymore, but there's guys like us that are out there doing that.
Yeah.
So, I think it's a breath of fresh air to see that, and I think you're a cool dude to have on here to talk,
Well, thank you.
Just because we got a similar personality like that. So
yeah, dude, I don't know. I was just trying to show, like, exactly, like, dude, this is just like me. Like, that's pretty much it. Which I know that's kind of, like, unprofessional, but, I mean, that it's just, like I said, it's just me and everything like that. And I just also, like, a big thing for me is being transparent. So if I can be transparent, like, through the videos and everything like that, like, I'll show, like, a lot of the times, like, when I have, like, my breakdowns and, the machinery is not acting properly and, certain things, I'll ask questions, so I can get some responses from different people and opinions. So
no, on Instagram, man, you're definitely very, very active on there, man. Like a track comes off and you're like taking a video of it and you're like behind the camera going, damn.
Yeah.
Like shit, there goes my afternoon. And it's like, yeah, been there, buddy. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh man, I wish I would have been able to catch one. I had one where the excavator slid off the trailer and it was just halfway on, halfway off. Cops ended up coming and everything like that, but that was just like a real surreal moment that you're like that wouldn't happen. And I wish I would have been able to. In the moment, I'm just so focused on getting it done. Right. But I wish I would have been able to just kind of like highlight that. And that's really what kind of my whole like mindset is like. Yeah. I want you guys to know what's going on, but what we do and everything like that. But dude, this is me. Like this is us. Like
yeah, and it shows like the reality behind it too, and the struggles of it, especially for a young dude that's like taking a crack at it and doing your own thing. And you're still very involved in the field and moving equipment and actually being there shooting grades and running machines. I mean, not everybody's out there doing that and taking those chances, man. So to like take that, the reality of what it is to do that and then to put it on the internet and then to interact with people that respond to it. I mean, it's a cool thing. I mean, it's fun. And I probably don't do a good enough job interacting with followers and stuff like that. But, I mean, it seems like you're doing pretty good at that. And that's honestly how this conversation started to get you out here. Yeah.
I mean, I it's just like business, right? You like jump out, like kind of like a leap of faith and everything like that. Like it's kind of like challenging yourself, but it's also kind of like a double-edged sword because, like you said, although I do that, you get the people that tell you like, "Oh, you're doing this wrong," or you do it this way, or
right,
or just certain like situations. Like, because, like, we're on the East Coast, and I'll have people that will comment or, send me, like, a DM that's on the West Coast or, in the middle of the States. And it's like, dude, like, it ain't like that here, man. Like, it's not like that here. And then also being up closer to the city, too. Like, a lot of people aren't realizing that, too, because some of the projects, even though I'm all over the place because we're literally doing stuff from, PA to VA, a lot of people aren't really thinking about that and realizing that, or maybe my pictures aren't, showing that, or videos aren't showing that. But a lot of that has to deal with, the various scenarios and stuff. So
yeah, man. No, every day is a challenge, dude. There's no doubt about it. But I guess tell us a little bit about yourself, man. So Dirt Devil Landscaping and Excavating.
Yeah.
You do excavating, concrete work, landscaping, a lot of bobcat work, site services. You're young. What are you, 26, 27?
I'm turning 28, so 27, yeah.
27,
yeah.
Okay. And you got a cool story, I guess. Yeah. You were in a motorcycle crash not long ago.
Yeah, I mean.
Overcame that.
Yeah, I guess some can say cool. Some can say stupid. Some can say inspiring. It really doesn't, I don't know. Like, I'll just explain it again. So I guess it was like maybe like 2017, I guess it was. So this would have been like my first official year of going full time and everything. I literally, the prior year before that, I bought a house. 2 weeks after buying the house, my boss at the time had like let me go. Like, I mean, he didn't say those words. Of course, he's like, what did he say to me? I'm not trying to let you go, but I don't think this is going to work. That's what he said. And I said, so you're letting me go? Can you at least give me like a week or two? Nah. And this is literally after I just bought the house.
2 weeks. 2 weeks into being a homeowner.
Yeah. So I'm freaking out and everything. And anyway, I just had like a conversation with my brother, and he was just kind of like, dude, you kind of been putting forth the work. You supplemented your income. Like, it's time to like kind of like take a leap and everything. Right. So that was kind of like the mindset I was in going into like the next year. Like, dude, I'm about to. Can you curse on here?
I don't care.
Okay. I'm about to fuck shit up, dude. Like, I'm about to fuck shit up. Like, this is like my year. I ended up starting. It was like my second project of the year. I finished that day. I took my best girlfriend out for dinner. We had like a good dinner. Then I dropped her off. I just walked her over to the bar that she wanted to go to and everything. And I had to like work early in the morning. So I was like, all right, I got to get out of there. Hopped on my bike, made sure everything was like good with me. I didn't drink or anything like that. So, I was good in that aspect. Took to the highway. Well, took just before the highway and everything like that. I was in Columbia Parkway, if anyone knows where that's at. So basically, a car was driving by, sideswiped me, ended up sending me into the guardrail. That ejected me 70, 80 feet into the woods or whatever. My bike continued another 300 feet down the road. I was like in the woods. And, luckily, another biker in a car from behind saw what happened, and like literally the biker. Like, it's so funny. After, a little bit of recovery, I ended up meeting the guy. That basically, I guess you could say, saved my life and everything like that.
Yeah.
He was like, dude, I saw your bike. I saw a wobble in the tail. And he was like, there's no way. And then nobody was on the bike. And I was just like, I was freaking out. And I went to go, like, see where you were the last time I saw you and everything like that. And, like, dude ran down into the woods to look for me.
And you were in critical condition, like hurting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't wake up until 3 days later. Right. I didn't remember waking up until 3 days later. Let me say that. Okay. Because actually they put me on medication and everything like that, and I kept waking up, screaming in pain and everything like that, and they had to keep sedating me and all those various different things.
Right.
I think that's, like, probably, like, one of the like toughest things, not remembering that, hearing from like my relatives and everything like that were like there in the hospital. Like,
and how long were you down and out after that?
Basically kind of like 6-7 months. Like, it was kind of like a quick recovery. I mean, I pushed myself, but I think 6 and 7 months with it being too early. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
So, new homeowner, recently got fired from your job. Started your own company.
Yeah.
Crazy motorcycle accident.
Yeah.
Put you out for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then you come back and say, well, I'm still going to take a crack at it.
Yeah.
And just work through it at that point.
Yeah. Man, it was actually in the hospital too. Like, I didn't watch a lick of TV. I think this is what helped my recovery too. I didn't watch a lick of TV. I didn't listen to any radio or anything like that. Most of the time, it was just me and my thoughts and a notebook. Like, by the time I got out of the hospital, like, I literally had 16 pages back and front of like notes of just like what I need to do and what I plan to do once I get out of here and for the business and personal, you know, because it's like I said, like I need to like move on. Like I need to get hustling because I'm thinking about like my bills and stuff like that. Like, I mean, I've been working since my freshman year of high school. You could basically sit there and say, so, you know, it's always been a hustling type of mindset, you know, 3, 4, literally I had 4 jobs at one point, which is kind of like insane. But, yeah, like 3, 4 jobs. I've always just been in grind mode, I guess you could sit there and say. So, and that just kind of like helped, like I said, me get through like mentally too. Yeah. Because I'm not sure if you know, but dude, all those like drugs, like they had me on 6, 7 medications, and you're talking about 2 or 3 times a day, and a couple of those were shots, and then it's mixing all together. Like, dude, I hadn't cried or anything like that for years before that. I was crying like every day. It was a whole like mental like shift for me.
Yeah, it was an experience. I've been fortunate, man. I've never had to do the painkiller thing or none of that. Yeah. So I know that's what gets a lot of people on drugs, but I mean, obviously you came out on the good side of it. It helps you recover, and or does it seem like you're addicted to drugs or anything?
Nah, I'm not, dude. No, I'm straight like against that as well, but I don't know, like that was, like I said, it was like a mental thing for me going through and just dealing with that, man. Like I even had a moment where I like broke down, you know, to my mom and like to my dad at one point too, like in the same room. You know, basically they wanted to give me like another dose, and I was just bawling. I didn't want it. Yeah. Because mentally where I was at is like I don't feel like myself. I can't think for myself. Right. You know, I'm crying. I'm like, I can't control, you know, the various different things that I feel like I should be able to control. You know, having lash outs, like that too. Like, yeah, man. Like drugs.
So definitely a hard time in your early in the career. Yeah. Early in the business. Yeah. So, but that's cool that you kind of overcame that, and then you still went after the whole being self-employed thing. Yeah. And at that point, did you have employees, or was it just you and?
Yeah, it was just me.
Just you.
It was just me and renting machines. Yeah. Like, it's honestly, so partially what got me through the time where I was down. Once I got into, you know, I was able to get home and I was in like rehab and everything like that. So, I started, you know, doing the various different things, back office things, building the website, branding, all that stuff, really solidifying that. And then projects, like, I'm not going to lie, at that time I was using, like, you know, lead source services and everything like that. And then, like I said, I was subbing things out. That's what really, like, brought me into, like, knowing subs and everything. I was subbing a lot of stuff out, just, even though I was taking just a little bit of it, for me, it was like I needed to make money still, or I still needed to, I don't know, still be in the busyness of it, I guess, or whichever the case may be. But that definitely planted like the roots and a good foundation for when, you know, I was able to hit the road running. I could hit it running. Like that was my whole intention.
Right. So you were still active out there, like getting in front of people, doing estimates. You just couldn't physically do the work.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I couldn't physically show up for the job a lot of times. Like I was literally in a wheelchair. Like, you know, a lot of it, like at one point for 2 months or whatever, I actually had my older sister. So we have age gaps. I'm the youngest. It's 9 and 11 is the age gaps. So I got my big sister going out taking videos for me at, you know, certain projects, and you know, she was doing it, you know, just to appease my mind, thinking that I'm, you know, still not being serious and all that other stuff. But no, like I was straight serious. Yeah.
Cool. And how long ago was all this? Maybe 3 or 4 years ago?
Yeah. Like it's still fresh. Like 3, 4 years, and I mean.
So today, 4 years later, like where are you at now? How many guys do you have? Like,
okay.
It seems like you're doing a hell of a lot better.
Yeah, doing way better. I mean, still getting out of the hole, but doing way better. So right now, got 3 guys and then 2 part-times, and then have a office assistant. Basically, she's basically full-time, you know, at this point. Yeah. She's really been another foundation that's been like helping me build and everything like that.
Yeah, right on.
So I have a 259 as far as like machinery goes, skid steer, and then a 304, 305, whatever you want to call it. Mini X, and then, access to farm equipment, wheel loaders from different associates. Again, it comes from subcontracting and
just
building those
networking.
Yeah. So, I mean, I have access to big hose, small hose, anything, really, compactors. Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, I know from your Instagram stuff, man, it seems like you got your hand in a little bit of everything, doing from the bigger excavating work, a little bit of tree work.
Yeah.
Some landscaping, hardscaping, a little bit. Very similar to what we do here.
Yeah.
So that's cool, man. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm trying to like niche it down now.
Yeah.
Like there's just right now, which I'm pretty sure you probably like experienced, there's like a little bit too much going on as far as just the dynamic of like services and everything. One day we may be doing asphalt, the next day we're doing, cutting down trees, or we're doing stabilization or grading work.
Yeah, it's hard, man. So I still think I do a little bit of too much, like different services.
Okay.
But I have narrowed it down, because what I did is like kind of over the last 3 or 4 years, man, you kind of focus on, one, what you're making the most money doing, and then 2, what you enjoy doing. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't want to have to get up and go do shit every day that you don't want to do.
Yes, sir.
So it's like, look, what would I rather do today?
Yeah.
And then you focus on that, and as long as you're making money doing that, I think personally, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah.
But starting out, man, I was the same way, because like you gotta, especially once you hire people, you have to stay busy every day.
Yeah.
So like I don't turn work down, man.
Yeah.
I don't think you're alone in that boat. I think a lot of people starting out are like, damn, trying to do a little bit of everything just to keep cash flow going and to keep your guys working. And, because like you said, man, you'll figure it out, whether you sub it out or you got to send guys and actually go buy the new tools to do the job and then have like a little bit of a learning curve. You can figure it out.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like I said, like I'm in that stage right now. Still, as far as like that hungry mindset, like, I need to figure out the basics. I need to figure out the foundation, and like you said, a little bit of enjoyment too. Like a little bit of the enjoyment is like of the challenge. Like last year I wasn't doing this, and like I'm on this right now, and like I didn't even think I was gonna get this job.
Oh yeah.
And I'm out here doing it, and hey, the numbers may not necessarily be there as far as profit, but the experience, and the lessons and, the challenges that come with it, like that propels you to another level too. Like that's one thing that I'm really starting to recognize too, is like not necessarily some of the jobs I need to make a profit on, if I'm saying that the right way. Because the profit will end up being made on the back end by me putting forth the work, and by me going through the lesson or whatever the case may be. That's one thing that I have realized. So now it's kind of just like from that thought process, trying to minimize, the damages.
I've done that too, man. It's like, I think this is what you're saying. So I would have, somebody would approach me to see if I could do something. And I'm like, well, I don't, I think I can do that. So you throw a number, like you try to get the job just to get the experience. And then once you get the experience, you can say, okay, well, how can I do this better next time?
Yeah.
To where I can make more money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I've done that too. Because when you're not going to be very proficient at something, like you just put a number on it to what you think it's going to cost you to do the job.
Right.
But that gets your foot in the door.
Right.
To hopefully open up new opportunities doing the same type of work.
Right. Or maybe not even the same. This is what I realized too. Maybe not even the same type of work, but just building that relationship
with a good customer.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's what I've realized is another thing, like a key thing, that keeps the working, funneling in, is maybe not necessarily, wanting that project, but wanting to extend the relationship because you see how this could get you maybe in a different project or just in a different room. Like, in a different room of voices and everything like that, because part of everything that's going on with like what I'm trying to do is like I'm trying to ask questions now. Like part of the reason, like I told you, like I wanted to sit down and talk to you and everything was to ask questions. Like I can spend a day, a week, a year trying to figure something out, or I could sit down 5-10 minutes and have a question and ask somebody my question and them give me their experiences and lessons and opinions, you know, in 5 minutes, half an hour, an hour.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man. And I think now definitely with the social media thing, I think a lot of people are open to having those conversations.
Yeah.
And it's not just people that are down the street, man. You can literally talk to anybody anywhere about it, you know?
Yeah.
Which is cool. And I've done that too, man. So I just bought those forestry mulchers.
Uh-huh.
So we're getting into that a little bit. And I've only had that machine for like a couple months.
Okay.
But you get on YouTube and you type in like Fecon forestry, and then you start like commenting on these videos, and they'll comment back because it's the same. It's a normal dude like in South Carolina that's doing the same shit that you're trying to do, but he's like taking the time to respond to you and talk to you about how to maintenance the machine, how to sharpen the teeth, like how long this should take. And I mean, it's cool, you know, like you can see the dude doing the work. It's exactly what you're getting into in a completely different state. And he's going to talk to you about his experience up to that point. So it's cool, man. I think it's the first time probably ever where that conversation was just so easy to have with so many different people, you know?
Yeah, I think all right, so what I think you're saying, because I was just having this conversation with a buddy the other day. I think what you're saying is basically people are realizing that they're not alone. Like a lot of, like, you know how it is as a business owner too, just as a business owner, like, you know, let's screw the industry in and of itself. But just as a business owner, a lot of people get in the mindset of like being alone. Right. Like they get trapped in that mindset of like, I'm the only one going through this. And then with social media, it allows you kind of like that access to other individuals that like, dude, like, I mean, you could either compare yourself to, but then people get into that mindset that they're comparing themselves to them and everything like that. But at least that it opens you up to, and it makes you more aware that, dude, there's people that are doing this. Like I was thinking about this idea. Oh, this person's doing it.
Right.
Okay. Well, let me ask them a couple opinions and everything like that, and that may like help streamline you as far as your process, and save you from different like consequences and lessons and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, man. Definitely the easier way to learn a lesson is to ask somebody else.
Yeah.
But I guess just you being a young business owner, man, what's been your biggest challenge up to this point? Whether it's finding good help or financing stuff or finding the workload, or I mean, what's been your biggest struggle, or you know, up to this point?
I would say, man, one, the equipment, you know, financing and everything like that, just from, you know, the whole accident and everything, the bills from that were heavy.
Yeah, so just like the financial side of it.
Yeah, the financial side of it was heavy and everything.
Because, you know, it's funny, man. A lot of people don't realize, like, when you're growing, you can only grow as fast as your bank account allows you to grow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can say you can do all kinds of stuff and, like, hire people and want to buy equipment and shit like that, but if you can't financially do it, then you're not going to do it.
Exactly.
I mean, you know, so, you know, you got to have that financial back. And I think a lot of times it's just, especially in our industry, man, because everything's so expensive. Mm-hmm. You know, like trucks and machines and trailers.
Yeah. It's
crazy.
And the overheads that come with it. That's the thing, too.
Fuel, yeah.
The overheads that come with it is just another thing that's like, bro. And you got to make it make sense.
Yeah.
You know, you got to make it make sense, not just to you, but to the client as well.
Right. So the finance side of it.
Yeah, the financial side of things definitely has probably been the hardest thing. The second hardest, I'll sit there and say, is, which I was just talking to you about, is now moving out of the field and trying to move out of the field and building, you know, my team up and everything like that. Mm-hmm. 'Cause like I said, like I started this year, you know, with 6-7 guys, and then I got down to myself and another guy. And now, you know, we're back up to 2 guys. You know, 3 full, 2 part. So it's like,
Yeah.
It's a process.
Yeah, so finding good help's hard, and then keeping good help's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing, man. Like, you can't do it all yourself.
Yeah.
It's like you got to find good people. You got to treat them well.
Yeah.
Treat them with respect. You got to pay them well.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just I think that's every industry though.
Yeah.
I mean, this is really all I've really ever done. But I think that's everywhere. Is just trying to keep good, reliable people.
Yeah, but with it though, it's the expenses are way different though. Like if you're in retail, what you're looking for is like space, dude. What you're looking for is space and yes, the people and everything.
Right.
And systems too. And systems is a big thing in retail too. But I think that's kind of like in every business. But for our industry, what I realize is like a lot of people can get by without systems. Like with construction, a lot of people just put forth the work. But that's just because of our mindsets. So if we're able to actually apply the systems, then we'll, go a whole lot farther. But like I was saying, like with like retail and everything like that, I think that overhead's way different because with us, it's not just space. Like we need space. We need the equipment, the tools, the manage, and maintenance, the equipment, fuel, the insurances, like all those various different things. Like, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that construction's like the thing that gets things started because there would be no retail without construction.
Oh, no, man. It's definitely
we're the ones that get kind of like beat down, the most. Like, dude, when you go into the store and you want to get that shirt, like, I mean, you get that shirt, even though you kind of maybe huff about the price. Like, you get the shirt.
Right. You don't really beat them up over the price tag.
Yeah, but when that guy tells you that tree is going to cost, $1,000 or $2,000, the guy down the street told me it would be like $800, $600.
Right.
Even though they didn't talk about it.
Oh, yeah, man, it's funny. Like a service-based industry, people will negotiate with you all day, beat you up. But you don't go into Wawa and be like, hey, man, I'll give you like $6 for that sub. I'm not paying $8 for that sub.
Yeah.
I'm just going, what about $6?
Yeah.
That's not a thing. People don't do that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I wish, dude. You would either be a very difficult person to deal with or an impressive bargainer if that's what you're doing, on your day-to-day.
Right.
But no, like, yeah, I think that dynamic's very interesting.
And I think it's because people don't realize what's involved.
Yeah.
Like they don't see all the hidden costs and all the overhead on what we do. But I don't know. I don't think that's a new conversation.
Yeah.
People have been talking about that for a long time.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's where it just comes into effective communication. Like, that's something that I think we do, like, really well, and I'm trying to actually, like, improve in everything, which is kind of funny. But it's, like, the whole effective communication side. Like I said, what, delayed me a little bit was I had to run over to a client's house for a drainage job. We just did a grading project and everything like that for them, and they're like, yeah, it's pooling and everything like that in certain areas, and I told them to send me a video. They sent me a video. It was terrible. You know how that goes. Couldn't really see what I needed to see, so I drove there to check it out. No, everything's perfectly fine. Everything's perfectly fine the way it is, and you just got to explain it to them. Hey, you're catching all your neighbor's water. It's raining all day. The amount of flow, you got to think, like, there's no vegetation on the ground. So what you're kind of, like, used to seeing that is going on is not,
right.
You're actually being able to see it. It's fresh ground. Also just the grade and pitch that we had to deal with and everything. Explaining all those various different things. But it's actually taking the time to be able to do that because I think, like, the whole difference between, like, Gen X and our generation is we're now able to, or not able, we try to communicate more.
Well, I think now it's expected.
Yeah.
I mean, with the cell phone on everybody's hip, dude, I mean,
okay, yeah,
like, you're pretty much on call. Like, if a my business number is my cell phone number.
Yeah.
So if somebody has an issue and they're sending me texts and calling me and sending me pictures or, like you said, a video of what's going on. Like, they know I'm getting it.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, it's 7:30 on a Saturday night. Like, I'm not going to answer you right now.
Yeah.
But it's like expected, though.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So it's just you're pretty much constantly on call.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. I think our generation does a better job of communicating well and, like, being on call like that.
Yeah.
Because the generations before us, I don't think they weren't brought up to where that's how everybody is constantly available all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, I mean, their mindset is to get shit done, any means necessary. If you don't pay me, kind of like huff and puff, I'll handle the next one.
Right.
Like, that's what I've kind of, like, realized with them is, like, I'll just handle the next one. And it's, like, for me, like, nah, I can't just handle the next one. Like, I need to have, you know, that conversation with you. And not just, you know, for you, it's also for me. So I can understand and, you know, communicate a little bit better next time, you know, to avoid this, hopefully. You know, rather than trying to avoid the conversation or you know, just run away from the situation in of itself.
Right.
You know, because that's one thing that I have realized talking with, like, a lot of my subs, a lot of them are later 40s, 50s, 60s. And, you know, they'll tell me a lot of their, you know, stories. I'll say their war stories of them just leaving money on the table. And it's and you're thinking about it, and it's like, why didn't you just communicate this way or say something this way? And it's like, I just wasn't in the mindset. Like, that's basically how they sum it up. They don't say it that way, you know?
Right.
They don't say it that way, but it's like, you know, I wasn't in the mindset.
Well,
I didn't want to deal with it.
I think something else, too, which I try to be conscious of, is our generation, right? Or, like, you and I, only been in business for, 4 years? I've been in business maybe 6 years, something like that. For the most part, we've had good times, like good, you know, like decent economy. Everything's kind of going, like, growing a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of them older dudes have been through, like, bad times, like the recession in 2008.
Yeah.
And shit, you know, where people had to lay people off, had to fire people.
Yeah.
There was no work. So, like, they got a bad taste in their mouth when, like, the shit got bad. And then they were just like, yeah, I'm not doing that again, you know? So they just kind of stay small, just work for a select group of people. And because they saw how bad it could get fairly quickly, you know, which we've been fortunate up to this point. We haven't had to, you know, deal with that.
Yeah, yeah.
But, you know, so I try to be conscious of guys that have been through the harder economic times. Because, I mean, that's a thing, too, man. I mean, times aren't always good. You know, I get that.
Yeah.
But I try my best to kind of prepare for shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't want to go week to week not knowing if I can pay for my truck bills, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I try to have it set up to where if shit hit the fan, you know, I could pay those bills until I figure something else out, you know?
Right, right.
So I think, you know, I just try to be conscious of that, how the older generation has been through more difficult times than what we've seen.
Right.
But maybe I shouldn't. I don't know.
No, dude. Both. There's no wrong answer. There's the best way to put it. There's no wrong answer, other than you having complete ignorance. Like that could be just the easiest way to put it. I mean, you know, it's just like I said. It's more so of just having the conversation and everything like that. Everyone deals with things differently.
Right.
It's, you know, what do you learn from the things that you you know, experience it and you hear and everything like that. So
yeah, man. Yeah, I think we're very similar mindset. You know, being in the same industry and, you know, both still young businesses, young dudes trying to grow it to a certain point.
Yeah.
What's your goal, man? Like, what's your end goal? Where would you like to be in the next 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? Like, where do you hope the whole Dirt Devil thing goes?
So my whole, I mean, since I began this, my mind's kind of been set on, like, a site development company. Like, that's been
Like heavy civil construction.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm kind of like more so writing it down even more now of whether I want to be just at GC and everything. You know, but basically how I have it in my head is I should have muted this before I came here and everything, but of course.
It's all good.
But like I have for like my mindset, basically a site development company from buying the land to actually developing it to working with, I mean, everyone being in-house as far as plumbers, subs, everything like that. And then, you know, are we going to sell it? Are we going to rent it?
Right.
We're going to keep it and use it for our own, whatever. And that's kind of like what I've been thinking about in the big picture. And I guess you could say that's kind of like a 10, 15 year type of plan and everything like that. Right now, what I'm more so working towards, which is kind of like my 5-year plan, is more so, I call it a compact site development company. And that's where, you know, we're doing civil work on a smaller scale with smaller machines, not needing, you know, the big hose, not more than, you know, like a 315 as far as like an excavator or whatever. Like, I don't want to get into like the big hoe work and everything like that if I don't need to at this point and everything. I really want to kind of do it small scale and really compact.
Well, I think that's the right way of doing it. Like, you're going to have to work up to that.
Yeah.
Because once you get there, man, everything's more expensive.
Yeah.
Harder to transport, a lot more expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, and then like a lot of people don't know the whole cash flow and credit side of things. Like, dude, once you jump into that, like,
yeah,
dude, things just have to be in order because you're at a totally different level. Like, the whole, not even just like the logistics, but the financials and everything. Like, they have to be, like, you can't wake up and do it day by day. Like, you can't do it then. Like, you have to be a couple weeks planned out. Strategies, like, if one piece of the puzzle, one person's not there, you know, 2-3 people are there to, you know, pick up the slack, all those various different things. So yeah, I'm definitely like aware. Yeah.
Well, cool, man. Sounds like you're on the right track, buddy.
I think.
That's all you can do. I mean, it seems like you're making educated decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not just doing stuff that, at least that I can see, that you're, you know, going to regret 3 months from now because you lost money or whatever, you know. So it's good, man. Like I said, it's good to see young dudes, man, that are working hard and, you know, doing their thing and chasing a dream. So thanks for coming out, dude. I appreciate it. I think it was a good conversation. Yeah. I think we're on the same page with a lot of things.
Yeah. It's been a good conversation as well. Now, I did have like a question for you. You know, like, I don't think I've heard like how you've like started and everything like that. Like, I mean, I know you're on like a timeline and everything like that, but like, I know you were in construction previously, right?
Yeah, man.
And then after a couple of years, or were you in there for like a good little bit?
Yeah,
decided
like
to start your
4
business?
years. So I graduated. Okay. I have an environmental degree from Salisbury. 2011, got that. Then I pretty much worked in civil construction till like 2014, 2015, and started McKenzie Contracting in 2015, and that's when I made the jump. Pretty much doing side, you know, I had my company. I was a superintendent for somebody else, just kind of doing like residential side work on the weekends and stuff. And then it just kind of, I made the leap of faith. I think it was like late 2016, early 2017. Made it full time, and then just never looked back, man.
Okay. Did you have the family at that time when you made it full time, or?
Yeah, so I was married in 2015.
Okay.
My wife was awesome, you know, very supportive of everything.
Okay.
But at the time, it was just her and I, you know. So we, you know, she was working, so had another income. We could make it work if shit didn't work out.
Right.
But then 2017, she got pregnant. Baby came, and then it was like, okay. Now I really got to make it work.
Yeah.
So that's when everything kicks up a notch. You know, failure's not an option.
Yeah.
And, so we made it work, man. So, you know, I haven't looked back. And, you know, my wife now, she works with me. I say part-time, 2 days a week, but it's really full-time.
Okay.
I mean, she's on call every day, you know.
Okay.
So she handles kind of the office aspect of everything.
Okay.
And then raises the babies. So.
Yeah, dude. That's a super cool dynamic. I mean, I'm trying to get there. I guess you could sit there and say, I said, you know, I have a girlfriend and she has a kid and everything like that. And those are kind of like all things that I'm thinking about, and I guess you could say that are motivating me even more. Like,
yeah, man, that's the ultimate motivation, buddy.
Yeah,
it's having other people to depend on you.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, dude. Does it feel good to pay your employees? Like, I don't know. Like, it's just something that kind of like dawned on me like last month or whatever. It was just like, you know, I kind of look forward to like paying my guys. Like,
yeah, man. For me, it's like I mean, I like to not just pay them, but like to actually just appreciate your employees. You know, like a couple of weeks ago, we did a fishing trip. Took the guys out rock fishing on the bay and shit like that, and it was a good time, man. You know, just something to where they feel appreciated, like, you know, and that comes, you know, obviously everybody likes a good paycheck.
Yeah.
But people also like to come to work and know that, one, their job's important, and two, what they're doing every day is appreciated by not just me, but everybody else on the team, you know.
Yeah.
So, because, I mean, believe me, man, my guys, you know, everybody has their own job. And if somebody doesn't show up, that makes everybody else's job that much harder that day.
Right.
So I make it a point when somebody's doing their job well, it's like, hey, man, you're doing a good job. You know, thanks for doing your part. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because without even, you know, down to the guys that are just feeding the chipper, man, if they're not there, then the guy that's cutting the tree also has to feed the chipper. Like, that sucks. You know, that whole job just got that much harder, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's important to not only pay guys what they deserve, but also just to let them know, hey, you know, like, no matter what you're doing today, like, it's important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So.
I think that appreciation, like you said, I think that's what it is what I'm feeling, is that, you know, appreciation. And now it's like, you know, I just got to get to the level to where I can do more for them, which is in my mind already, you know? Like, I mean, I just gave, like, my assistant a raise, like, all those various different things. But, I mean, like, it's monetary, like you said. It's as far as, like, money and everything like that.
Right.
You know, going to dinner, actually just, like, having a conversation of, like, how your financials are, all those various different things. Those, like, touch a different chord versus showing up, getting it done, going home, giving them a check, and everything like that. So,
yeah, and it's good to have guys, too, that are team players at work. Because if you get a guy with a bad attitude, man, who just wants to come, collect a paycheck and leave, he's kind of like a downer, doesn't want to, like, bullshit with the guys or whatever. I mean, then it's like, that's a very contagious attitude.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I try to keep that away, especially from guys that have good attitudes.
Yeah.
Because to lose a good dynamic, you just got to bring in one bad apple, dude, and everybody turns to the same type of shitty attitude.
Right.
So I try my best to avoid that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And, like, with you trying your best to avoid it, like, and this, I guess, kind of comes into, like, training and everything like that, because that's one thing that, like, I'm at right now is, you know, trying to train the guys to, like, using machines and stuff like that. You know, how I'll just be straight up, like, how are you effectively doing that? Because, you know, that's a problem that I'm running into right now. If I'm not on the site, basically, moving those machines and everything like that, the trucks will move, stuff like that. But if I'm not on the site to move those machines, which makes majority of the money, like, then there's an issue. And like I said, you know, I'm trying to sit there and get out of that, you know, because I can't do this. And honestly, you know, I prefer to be just selling the work, and expanding, like, these opportunities and everything like that. Like, I understand it from the business end, but I also understand where I'm at, you know, on the functionality. And so like I said earlier, like, I'm at that bottleneck. So how do you like effectively, like, train your guys and everything like that?
Yeah, man. So I'm fortunate. I have a couple I got a handful of really good guys, and I try to allow them to train the guys that are working with them, you know. And I'll make it a point to say something sometimes, you know. I'm like, hey, man, you know, we're going to let him run the skid steer today. Watch him, show him how to do it. You know, I do that on jobs where I know that we're going to be done on time. Like, it's not like a time crunch type thing.
Yeah.
And, like, there's nothing real expensive around it that you can get fucked up. Yeah, I'm like, look, man, let him run it today. You kind of explain to him what to do. And then, you know, it's just a matter of making an effort.
Yeah.
And then I don't because I have guys that can do that more effectively than me because they're in the field the whole day. Exactly. So I kind of put that on other people. I'm like, look, man, let him do this today. You kind of watch him, make sure he's doing it right, you know. But it is on me to kind of make that decision to say, hey, it's a training day for this guy, you know. So you just got to take the time, man. And to do that, you got to have jobs that aren't so, like, time sensitive and that you're not, like, pinching pennies on them and shit like that because it will take longer. And you probably have to go back and fix shit.
Right.
But you got to do that in order to try to, like, let people grow, you know.
Right.
Which is important too, man. I mean, or else you're always going to have the same workforce unless you let the guys learn new stuff, you know.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's definitely a struggle for a small business because when you're only running one crew and you got one guy on a machine, like to put the new guy in the machine, it's like really taking up a lot of time, you know. So
yeah. So I mean, do you remember when you were making like that shift in your business? You know, at the time where it's like, you know, you were in the field majority of the time and you're like, all right, now I need someone to, you know, run the equipment and everything like that. Did you just go ahead and get that skilled labor or did you train that skilled labor? Because that's another thing that I guess I've been kind of like battling too is like, you know, paying the so-called skilled labor, you know, to come in and basically, you know, get a jump start or whatever, or just building them up and everything like that. Right now, I would say, you know, I'm kind of at the building them up the way I kind of want them to stage. But yeah.
I'll be honest, man. Like I have a couple guys that I hired as laborers that, you know, after seeing them on the job site and seeing what they, you know, just casually seeing what they can do, I'm like, damn, dude, you can do more than I thought you could, you know? Like, so, and then giving them the opportunity to do it in front of me, and then me just taking a leap of faith and being like, okay, well, you got this today. I'm going to go look at 2 or 3 jobs. I'll be back this afternoon. And then over time, you got, you know, when you have guys with you for a year or 2 years, and then you just trust them to do it, you know? It's like, look, actually, they're better at it than I am. It's like, look, you're going to, because they do it every day now. It's like, look, you go take care of that, then I'm going to go do my job. Like,
yeah.
So, you know, and that's a cool, you know, point to be at.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, man. It's a little bit of both, I guess. I've hired the good guys, and then there's guys that have been with me and they've learned how to do shit, even if it's just driving a truck and pulling a trailer. You know, you give them the chance, like on a rainy day, to just practice around the shop. You know.
Yeah.
Then they get comfortable enough to do it, and then.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's where I'm trying to definitely like expand, but it's harder because it's just, you know, they're ditch bitches right now. Like they, you know, they're shovel guys and everything like that.
You'll get there, man. You just got to put a little bit of faith in them.
Yeah.
Give them an opportunity to kind of learn something new.
Yeah.
And that's what's going to keep guys too, man. Like, because people, I don't care what job you got, if there's no growth potential, you're eventually going to get tired of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you got to give people the opportunity to do more.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's kind of like my biggest thing is actually like letting them know that there's growth and everything. Like that's what like I realized that with my assistant real easy as far as one, communication and, you know, potential growth and you know, slowly like adding tasks and everything like that.
Yeah.
You know, but definitely training the guys has been easier in the field than in the office, but them sticking has just been the difficulty part. So
yeah, man. You know, and that's a turnover, and just in what we do, man, the turnover rate is what it is. Like, you're going to have guys come and go. I think that's across the board, you know, whether you're doing landscaping or big site work or trucking or whatever. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know anything around that, except just treating people with respect, you know. I mean, that's all you can do is treat them the best you can, the best you can afford to.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know any other way of doing it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Treat them how they, want to be treated.
Right.
Not necessarily how you think they should. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. 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 All right. That gives me a little bit more, like, transparency, a little bit of another golden nugget for me to, like, think about and
man,
take back and everything like that, for sure.
Yeah, dude. No, that's cool. Little Q&A for me at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly got a couple more questions for you. Kind of like your setup and everything. Like, how did you figure out, the setups that you have, like, right now? Because what it looks like for me, from my appearance and from my perspective, and everything like that, that you're more so based on the forestry, tree side of things and everything. But you yourself still have a very compact unit, It's not a lot of big trucks. It's not a lot of big machinery and everything like that. But you guys are still, like, getting shit done, which is, ultimately what, I kind of want is, like, a compact, like, unit and everything like that. So how have you, like, build up those efficiencies and everything like that? Was it just seeing someone else's, setup, or was it going through the experiences and seeing definitely the different tools that you ended up needing and everything like that?
Yeah, I mean, so basically I try to purchase trucks and equipment that's going to be universal for a little bit of everything that I do, right? So I really don't have a need for, like, a real big, 50,000-pound excavator.
Yeah.
Hard to transport. I don't have a whole lot of that work. You don't really need it for, like, some of the tree work. But, like, the excavator that I have, I can pull behind a triaxle dump truck on, like, a 20-ton trailer. And I can also, it's got a 20-foot digging depth. So, like, a lot of the excavating stuff that I do on, like, the environmental side, like the ponds and, stone swales and stuff like that, it can be utilized on either crew.
Yeah.
So if I send that truck and that machine out to do pond work, it can handle any pond job that I've done up to this point. Or if it doesn't have work doing that, I just send it to help do a cleanup job, right behind the tree crew that just dropped a big-ass tree or something.
Right.
So it's a universal, it's a very universal outfit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I have a hard time, like, man, stump grinder, right?
Yeah.
Being in the tree business, you pretty much I have a stump grinder. I have a 60-horsepower stump grinder.
Yeah.
Probably the hardest purchase I've ever made, because that sumbitch only grinds stumps.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't do anything else. Like, I'm like, damn, man. Like, you got to grind a lot of stumps to pay that thing off.
Yeah.
Where, like, I have a skid steer with a grapple bucket.
Yeah.
Awesome for tree cleanup.
Yeah.
But I can also put a flat bucket on it and do driveways. I got a bush hog I can put on it and get into bush hogging a little bit. It's a very universal machine.
Yeah.
But chippers and stump grinders, man, it's like tears me up having to buy that shit because it only does one thing,
Yeah.
Same with the dump truck. Last year I went out on a limb and bought a full-size dump truck. I do a little bit of hauling for my jobs in-house. I'll sub it out every once in a while, like in the winter or whatever, but really, I mean, I would say 50% of the time that truck's going behind and cleaning up after my tree crews because it makes it that much faster,
Yeah.
I can send my tree guys there to get shit on the ground and then go to the next one to start dropping another tree. That truck comes in with one guy with the excavator and the dump truck, cleans it up and gets going.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's a very universal outfit.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do. When you make a big purchase, make sure you have multiple scopes of work that thing can do for you.
Yeah.
It's got to work every day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so, like that stump grinder sits in, unless I got stumps to do, it's just sitting in the shop, man. Like,
man. And that's where I was saying, it's great to be hungry and, going out and being I guess trying all these various different things, having my hands in so many different things. But that's where I'm saying, you know, being more like bottled down and niche related and everything. But niched in similarities. You know, that was the whole point. Like I started concrete, honestly, because dude, for almost like 8 months, I was just prepping for concrete guys. You know, just doing grading and everything like that. And you know, I'm watching it, and I'm like, dude, this is not that hard. Like, this does not look that hard. You know,
concrete finishers, man, are hard to come by, dude.
Well,
if
by them, yeah,
a good finisher, man. So that's a dying trade.
Yeah, that's one thing that I'm realizing too is, again, because I jumped into that, you know, doing it all myself. Like I become good at finishing concrete.
Yeah.
And now, like, selling more work, it's like I can't do it all.
Yeah, you can't finish 30 yards of concrete in a day by yourself. Like, you got to have a team of guys that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know?
And most of the guys that I have, most of my concrete finishers, again, 50, 60. I mean, and they're ballers. I mean, and they'll give it to you straight. Like, it's so funny because I had my 2 newer guys just last week. I had my 2 newer guys on. I think it was one of them was their first pour, and the other guy was maybe like his third or whatever with us. They hadn't met some of the concrete finishers that, you know, I use.
Right.
And this was, how many yards was this? I think it was like 24, 25 yards, something like that. The one guy, his name is Elvis. Older guy, he's like in his 60s, everything like that. He always sits there and says it when the truck shows up. All right, guys, it's time to go to war. It's time to go to war. And he means it, because once he starts, like, he's that guy that, like, he's giving you shit and everything, and he's telling you exactly how he wants it and everything like that. And that's where, like, our generation will be like, that hurts my feelings. Yeah. Like, you know, that hurts my feelings. Like, you could say that a little bit nicer, and, like, you know, that's where you kind of, like, have to have, you know, someone there to be like, just explain it to him a different way, you know? So I do appreciate that. But, yeah, it's definitely a dying breed and everything like that. You know, I guess, again, like I said, communication, because that, too, like, a lot of my concrete finishers throw me work because they honestly don't like dealing with the clients. Yeah. They pains them in the process.
Concrete guys pricing. Usually don't have the best customer service. They're just concrete, you know, like, they're good at concrete.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, I wish I was good at concrete, man. I mean, you know, personally, I don't finish. Like, you know, if I have a couple guys that can, and then if it's a big pour, I'll, you know, either sub it out or get a couple guys come in for the day to help out. But, it's a dying trade, dude. And it's not going anywhere. I mean, you know, there's going to be a short, and good carpenters too, man. It's hard to find like a good carpenter.
Yeah. That's why the prices are going up for them too, dude. Like, well, I mean, you know, my subs now, you're talking about like $500 a day, you know, per man, $600 a day. Yep. You know, on some of these jobs, it depends on too if it's like structural or whatever the case may be. You know, some of these guys $1,000 a day, like, because it's not even just a skill. It's the reliability of consistent skill. Like, that's also what I realized. You know, because with some of my finishers, they just haven't been, you know, consistent and everything like that. And I like, how has that, like, on your side of things, like, that consistency and everything like that, as far as, you know, your subs and your employees and everything, how has that, I guess you could say, translated? How have you seen that, you know, in your business, you know, affecting good and bad?
Yeah, I mean, I just try to do a little bit of quality control. Like, if I sub it out, or even, you know, even jobs that we're on with my guys, like, I'll be there when the job starts. I'll make sure they have everything they need, and then I'll be there as it's wrapping up before I ever ask for any type of money or anything. Like, you put eyes on the job, make sure everything's right, you know. And if it's not, you know, we fix it, you know, because, you know, shit happens. You know, it is what it is. It's just having the, just, I guess, having the personality where you're going to make it right before you expect the customer to pay for it,
Yeah.
And I think that goes a long way.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I guess it is a little bit harder for clients to I don't know, trust you when when they've given you their money and they're having an issue and it needs a fix.
But I do a lot of shit on a handshake, and I do a lot of stuff right here locally. So like a lot, I'm not going anywhere. Like these are people in my community that I'm going to be around and see at the bar on Friday night or whatever, So I mean, I'm not trying to do anybody wrong.
Yeah.
Because definitely, like, it'll come back to bite you, dude. Like, you don't want to do that. You don't want to be the guy, like the shady contractor that's taking people's money and then not calling them back and shit. So, and I think just answering phone calls and just doing the right thing, man, it just goes a long way.
Yeah.
So, and just being honest with people, man. Like change orders, or if something's going to cost more money or whatever, just communicate that. And most of the time, if it's reasonable, people don't have an issue with it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, it's just like you said, the communication thing and making sure everybody's on the same page all the time, So there's no hidden fees, no hidden conversations at the end that, when you're looking to put your hand out for some money,
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, cool, buddy. I think it's been a good conversation.
Yeah. It's been a great one, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming down here.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite and everything like that.
Yeah, keep doing your thing on Instagram.
I plan to try. I need to get more consistent.
You on TikTok?
Nah, like
I'm not either, man. I can't make the jump to TikTok. I'm like, shit.
It's so
there's
funny.
only so many things you can do.
Dude, I did actually, like, I jumped out there to TikTok actually before the beginning of last year. Like last year, because of COVID, like TikTok went crazy, man. I actually wish I had invested in that. But it went crazy last year. So actually, a couple of my videos did go viral on TikTok. 50,000, 30,000, couple views and everything like that.
Oh shit.
But then I went cold turkey, like kind of like with the same thing with the Instagram. That was just like a hiatus for me, and that was like I told you downstairs, I was trying to take control of my life again. As you know, when you're like working, not taking a break can be really bad.
Yeah. And dude, to be honest, man, that's how I look at social media. It's like it's a platform that I feel like I have to be on for the business side.
Yeah.
I don't, I look at buddy's shit and everything, but it's not enjoy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't feel like I'm enjoying it. It's just like it's a platform that I feel like it's a necessity.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Kind of takes it away from me a little bit.
Yeah. I set limits for myself, honestly. Like, literally, I have it in my phone, when I wake up, 10 minutes on Instagram. Before I go to bed, 10 minutes on Instagram.
Right.
If I'm going to look at it during the day, it's 10 minutes on Instagram. Like, that's it. And it's mostly just for, like, all the interactions and stuff like that. Because,
it's important, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we have a Facebook page, Instagram page, a LinkedIn, a YouTube page.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, man. Like, you post, like today, we just posted pictures of our hats for sale, right?
Yeah.
It's like, well, like, you got to go through and make sure you put this shit on every platform. It's like, man, like.
On every single one, and then check the messages and everything like that. And then let's say someone comes in through it and you don't get to them and everything like that. Like, those various different things. Like,
yeah, that happens too, man. Like, Instagram, people hit you up, like, direct message you on Instagram about wanting to get an estimate. It's like, man, shit. Like, and then they'll Facebook message you, and then they'll leave you a voicemail, and then you'll get some text messages, and then like they'll hit you on the website. It's it's like a full-time job keeping up with that, like, because you're obligated to look at it.
Yeah, like I said, it's double-edged sword. Yeah. Seriously, and the more you become, I don't know, Instagram famous or social media famous or whatever, the more opinions you end up getting, from people and everything like that. And I think that's kind of also what kind of like stopped me a little bit from last year. But this year, like, I plan on hitting it, a little bit harder and everything like that, because I just kind of want to, I don't know, I want to document what we got going on. real quick, because I really just want to, like I said, I have set a goal and everything, and you know, I want to run through this. Like I said, I really want to fuck shit up this year. Like we kind of already are, but like,
yeah, good, man.
Like
set goals, dude. Monthly, quarterly, yearly, and then.
Is that what you do? Do you do that? Do you kind of you set goals every single like I'll say quarter or whatever, and then
we'll do quarterly sales goals. I have an estimator now and a commission salesman, so they both have expectations, and so I mean I've been tracking that for the last couple of years, so you can go back and actually you can compare the first quarter of 2021 to the first quarter of 2020 and kind of compare your seasonal stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
that's what I've just started doing. Yeah. So were you not doing that at the beginning or anything, or how long?
It's hard to track. I mean, at the beginning, but you start using the software programs a little bit, and then it's easier to track each invoice, and you can kind of tag each invoice to what industry it is or what service category it's in.
Yeah.
So no, it's important, man. I mean, no, when I first started, I didn't do that shit.
Okay. All right.
But then you start to see how important it is in order to track it and how to in order to grow.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, I better start doing that.
Yeah. And then also because I'm definitely impressed by the sales rep, and it was Dylan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Meeting Dylan, the estimator, and everything like that. Like, how long did it take you to get to that point? And this is a big thing, developing that trust too. Yeah. Because that's something, like I said, like I already told you basically what my vision is. Like, it's really that kind of aspect that's kind of I'm playing over and over in my head, and I feel like I may end up doing the same thing like I did with the employees, being a little bit late when I should be moving on this a whole lot quicker. Like, we're bidding 6-figure jobs. I mean, they're coming in every week. They're coming in every week, and that's a different level than last year. Being transparent again. So last year, as far as numbers, with just me and another guy part time and everything, I just did just a little over 380. So this year, I'm projected to do 800. Which is just stupid. But with the
120% growth. Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I guess the point for me where I knew I had to get somebody else to start looking at work was when I just don't have time to do it. Can't keep up. There's more phone calls coming in than there is time in the day to go look at them. Mm-hmm. So, and then it takes time too, though, man. So I try to do a lot of that type of work in the wintertime. Put out those. Look for those people and try to build those people in your slow months.
Yeah.
But start that in November.
Yeah. Because
then by March, they're 5-6 months in, then you can kind of be like, okay, we're busy. Go on, do your thing,
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Because when they start, you're going to have to spend time, every day. You have to spend time with them. Everything they do, you need to overlook it, approve it before they send it to a customer. So, and then you got to track it. If they sell a job and you don't make money, it's like, hey, man, how come we didn't make money on this job? Where did it go wrong? And I'm not saying bust their balls on it, but it's got to be a conversation to have,
Yeah, so they're aware.
It's look, this has to change. We got to start making more money than that.
Yeah, because, I mean, dude, hey, you rely on this too, my guy. Yeah. Just holding them more accountable. Yeah, okay. Yep. I understand that.
Which is, it sounds negative, but it's people expect to be held accountable.
Yeah.
If you have a good job and that's what you're doing, making big decisions and doing big takeoffs, they expect somebody to be looking at it and helping. It's because it's not just criticizing them; it's actually helping them. It's hey man, I think you missed something here, or why'd you do it this way? Let's do it this way, and then you're helping them grow in their position.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So at least that's the way I've looked at it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That right there gives me just a little bit more of a a number to the timeline and everything like that, because it's like I said, I know I can do these things. It's just kind of develop it and everything like that. Because for me too, I'm also like, you have history in construction. All of this is all self-taught. Like a lot of it's all self-taught, or being taught from guys. Because my family is medical and tech, like straight up. They're medical and tech. More so tech. Yeah. I'm the only one who really works in the dirt, and they're all just like, yo, you're crazy.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, you work way too hard.
Literally, my sister, well, as I said, she's older than me. She's been saying this for years. I will not have a business. It doesn't make sense. You guys drive yourselves crazy, everything like that. My sister started a business this year. Yeah. And I was like, uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right, when you're driving yourself crazy, let me know.
Yeah, that's funny.
But yeah, like it's definitely a little bit different. But yeah, that I appreciate you, man. Like I don't even really care about the interview. Like I needed to like sit down and have a conversation with someone, like I said, that's kind of like in the position of where, I kind of want to be, like not even like necessarily as far as like functionality, it's just as far as mentality and your hunger and your hustle. And
yeah, man, you got to talk to similar minded people. I mean, that's important. And then and then also hanging out with people that are doing better than you too. Like, I don't care how well you're doing, somebody out there's doing it better and they're doing more.
Yeah,
that's across any industry and no matter what size you are.
Yeah,
and that's I'm a firm believer. You got to put yourself in a room with people that are doing better than you, not people that are doing worse than you, because that's what will make you content.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be like, hey, man, I want to go hang out with that guy, he's like, seems like he's got it under control. And if you start the conversation, man, a lot of times it's like, he's having the same fucking problems everybody else is having,
Yeah.
So, yeah. And it's just a breath of fresh air to talk to people that are having the same thoughts or just the same issues with certain stuff. I mean, so, yeah, man, I appreciate you coming out, buddy. I think it's been a good talk, and, I'm excited for you, man. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah,
Keep working hard.
Anytime. Anything I can do to help, too, dude, just let me know. If it comes down to Instagram pictures, let me know. Like, there's little tweaks that you can do that just set things, like, off, dude. Like, little things. But, like, let me know.
Right on, brother. Well, thanks again, man. Appreciate you.
All right.